Well, hello. I love you. I'm going to start with that. You want to say anything, Baba? I told her if she didn't want to be on camera, she didn't have to, but I kind of feel like she wants to. She was turned around and now she's looking forward. So, I didn't even put a brush through my hair. I brought a brush out here and I started to, I was like, should I get ready? And I'm like, I just don't have the energy, but I'm feeling witchy, so whatever. I wear my hair up so much, so like when I take it down, it almost has like a cool wave, and a lot of times if I brush it out, it ruins it, so I'm like, I'll just go with the wild hair and leave it. You could probably hear it in my voice that I am really spent. Honestly, I haven't been this spent in like, it's been a minute. It's been a minute. In real time, today is October 29th, 2024. And my family and I have really, really been through the ringer this year. I mean, so much so. Baba and I had a really horrible fight the other day. One of the worst we've ever had. And did you meow? I swear I heard it go, meow, like, I finally gave her catnip back. I think that was part of it. So I took her catnip away because, also welcome to the new people and welcome back to those of you who keep coming back. I love you so much. Let's enjoy a cup of something together right now. Go get comfortable, get something to eat. I don't know what this is going to be about so much. I just got the vibe to like, just talk. So get cozy. You're welcome in my home. With grace and gratitude, I welcome you into my home. As long as you're here with love in your heart and compassion. And, these are my air conditioners, by the way. I call them my air conditioners because I have one on this side, too. Oh, don't I have the one on this side? Oh, maybe it's just this one. Oh, yeah, some of my my black one, I have it on both sides. Some of my shirts, I do that because I wear so much layers. And when I wear a lot of layers, sometimes I can get really overheated, and it's easy to take a hat off, but like I really need to keep like my socks and my, we're off grid, and our heat source right now is a propane heater, and even though it's on the floor, it doesn't heat all the floors, and even though that there's rugs down, it's still, if it's 40 degrees outside, it's pretty much going to be around 45 in here. It's not going to be much warmer. But I digress. So speaking of, my family and I, we've been through so many changes, as I'm sure you guys have as well. And as a lot of you know, I really align with my witchy leg warmers. I really aligned with the dragon energy. And so, if you see me moving around, it's because even that hurt to do that. Today I was going to pick up the propane tank to move it. I got up and went to the bathroom, and I had it in my room, and long story short, Bubba was trying to get into her bathroom, and she was like, meow, like, dude, the tank's there. And she could have technically like slithered her way in, but I was like, hold on. And I thought it was lighter than it was. And I went to pick it up. It's a, what do they call it? A 20-gallon tank or whatever, but there's probably about, I don't know. Anyway, maybe 5 gallons in there. No, I think it's a 5-gallon tank. So there's probably like just a few gallons, but either way, it was early in the morning. I hadn't stretched yet. I'd done my meditations, I Reiki'd myself, which I hadn't really done in a minute and needed to do. And it was just the way I pulled it. Just the way I pulled it. I haven't I'm always like, sorry, I have to kind of adjust this because they're overall, ow, even that kind of hurt. Anyway, so I'm basically wanted to tell you guys just to slow the fuck down and allow, the energy right now is like, we couldn't be bombarded more if we tried. It's like, I'm like, they must have that fucker, I'm sorry, I'm just kidding, that ex-president running for president again. Seriously, they must like shoot him up with fucking like steroids or something, because I'm like, that dude's like a machine. He's a machine, and he's almost 80. And he admittedly eats like shit. I eat mostly really good. My only downfall is packaged dark chocolate, and I do like my chips, man. I do, organic or not, but they're still processed. But for the most part, I eat really healthy, and I'm like, how is he like nonstop, like going? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? I'm like, it's like, I guess when you're driven by hate, it's a really powerful emotion, and when you're driven by love, and people keep sapping the love out of you and taking the love out of you, it just starts to feel like you just feel drained. I'm sitting on a pillow. Anyway, so I tried to pull the propane tank out of the way for Bubba. And that's the second time I've hurt myself in the last week. The second time. Both times were after Spirit told me to slow the fuck down and relax. And I'm like, what can I do today? What can I, like, because my brain, even, it's actually worse when I don't smoke cannabis. People are like, you smoke so much weed. I'm like, you should see me when I'm not on weed. I mean, I'm like the Energizer Bunny on speed. It's just my brain is so powerful. It's so fast. My intuition, my connection to spirit, like, especially the more I'm like becoming my true self and living my true life, like the more I've been, doing that and feeling that, the more I do feel like aligned, with myself and the universe. And I can tell I'm in a holding pattern. I was watching something yesterday, and my phone took me to one of my readings. I don't even, if I touched it, I don't remember. And if I did, it was like sleight of hand. And even so, I was watching something. So it's not like, I'd have to I had my phone like this. So I'd have to turn my phone and, either way, myself did it. My higher self did it. But the reading was for myself. Like, I needed to hear it. It was from the Who Am I reading. It's so good. If you haven't checked out my channel, it's called the Magickal Medium. There's a link on here. There's also a link to Bubba's channel, Bubba the Great. But yeah, it was so fucking crazy. And it went to like I felt it right away, like which reading I should go to, but I used my pendulum anyway. And of course, it told me what I already knew. And it was like so wild to hear me talking back to me, because I needed that in that fucking moment. And that's when I realized that these readings really are timeless. Number one, whatever you are looking at, whenever you watch this, like, it's timeless. Like, I like to say the time and date and when it is, so that people, when you're watching it, can, if you do watch it a year later, 5 years later, 5 hours later, things will change. And because I'm kind of old school here and off grid, I mean, this video takes like, I don't even know how long. Sometimes it depends on how long it is, but it could take the whole day and the whole next night for it to upload. And it's like 2 or 3, especially when you do the readings, when they're like 2 or 3 hours. You have to start uploading it like before I go to bed. But a lot of times I'll start uploading it, especially if I'm in a night owl mode, I'll start uploading it at like 8 o'clock. And then it'll finally be done like the next morning or something. But yeah, so all of us in my family, we've just been going through, we've been together. We were in Big Camper, which was 26 by 10 feet, tiny home. We were in that for about 7 years. And now we've been in this one. It's funny, I called it Big Papa because we got it from an elder male whose birthday was the same as my father. The initials, or the letters on the rig, are the initials of my father's, my stepfather and my biological father. Crazy. The numbers on there come out to my birthday, 12/13. I mean, just like crazy shit, you know what I mean? But we only have been out of this. Last winter we were in the cabin. For those of you who don't know, we stayed in a cabin for like 4 months. And we actually talked about doing that again. We were like, well, we weren't sure if we wanted to sell this rig or... So at the beginning of the summer, even before the summer, because we met in May, so our first anniversary of the year is always in May. His birthday is May 28th. It's also my father's death day. So May tends to be like a really cool month. We just do a lot of fun, interesting things. And the way the weather is usually around here, it starts to feel like summer. It's really nice. So last year on summer solstice, or this past summer solstice, like the first week in June is when I think it was the first or second week in June is when I found out that my mom was sick. And I'd felt that she was sick the year before. You know, I've told, a lot of you guys know this already, I've talked about it. And then after that, oh, I'm getting an itch on my head like an ancestor. It's probably my mom. Hi, Mom. And so I found that out. And then I just got kind of weird. I was weird. Alder was weird. I was starting to pull away. I said, I'm not sure. Should I go visit her? Like, I spent like weeks just like tangled up in this like web of should I not? Crying. Yes, I'm going. Fighting with spirit. And then this one over here started to get really sick. She started molting. Last year, she was kind of a mess. I mean, not kind of a mess, no offense, Bubba, but she was the worst I'd ever seen her. Now, we've been together for, well, it'll be 13 years in February. So I found her on the street. I have no idea how old she is. The vet gave me somewhere between 1 and 3 years old, but it was hard to tell because her teeth were small, and he's like, you know, she could have been weaned early, or she's just big for her size, you know. He's like, she definitely has Maine Coon in her. He's like, she could be Maine Coon and Ragdoll. He's like, I'm not sure. So she's always been really big and really fluffy. But she doesn't like to be brushed, and we've tried everything, from the wire ones, the rubber ones, you know, we pet her. She won't let me cut her dreads off, and she likes to do everything natural, which I don't blame her, right? Like, I'm au naturel too. I mean, obviously, you know, we're living off grid. We live a much different life than a lot of people. So we kind of, for the most part, have just left her alone. But anytime I felt like she was sick or something was wrong, I'm like, we're going to the vet. Hold on, I'm going to put this down because I feel like I keep trying to lean forward. I moved it back, and I forgot I moved it back. Anyway, so over the years, I've just kept a really watchful eye on her, because when I had other animals before, I was that person that, you know, they always went to the vet, they had their shots, you know, but with Bubba, it just wasn't the same. Like, she doesn't like to be touched. She doesn't like to go to the vet. She's not really a big, you know, she doesn't like all the animals, the sounds of the animals at the vet, like, make her really uncomfortable, and it's just not her jam. So we've just fed her naturally, you know, her litter is natural, like, everything about her is organic, natural, like, you know, even like her, I stopped using like chemical flea meds on her. The only time I've ever done that is when other people brought fleas to her, or she went somewhere on an adventure and got fleas, but like, she hasn't had them in so long, because for the most part, there's lavender everywhere. There's lavender, peppermint, cinnamon. I spray all the time for critters and things like that. So eventually, you know, it does get on her. You know, I never spray her, and I never spray the area when she's there. Like, I usually spray the house when she's outside, and I know she's like, you know, taking a nap and she's going to be out there for a while. And I have all the windows open. But that's like that and catnip. I have catnip spray. And apparently, I didn't even know this, but fleas hate catnip. So, but like the natural stuff, right? So last year was the worst I'd ever seen her. I mean, she had knots in places I didn't even, like, on her bum, like in the back, like hardcore. Where I'm like, dude, I've never seen her like this. I said, something's really, like, I'm like, I don't think she's well. And I said, we'd have no idea how old she is. I'm like, she could be somewhere between, you know, 14 and 20. I mean, I really, really don't know. I don't know why I keep going like this, because I don't normally do this. This is an old habit I used to have when I felt like, oh, this is very interesting. Okay, so I'm like, maybe I just need to get like more like, just like more like myself. So like, I'm not, you know, I don't know. That was really peculiar. Also, it's because I'm not comfortable with, like, when my clothes are falling off. Or the reason why I started going to the podcast is like, you know, like, I don't want to I have like a dress on underneath this. It's like, it's thin, but it like lines underneath here. So I'm like all bunched up. I'm like, I'm just trying to get comfortable, but I'm all bunched up. Hi guys. Yeah, I haven't done one of these because it's like I feel super grounded and I feel good as long as like nothing is bothering me. Like as long as nobody's talking to me, as long as I'm not going anywhere, like I'm perfectly fine. But if I have to actually like talk to people or go anywhere or do anything, no, thank you. I'm like I don't want to go out there. And Alder's such a gem. I just realized my pants are all bunched up. Alder's such a gem. Like he can just, well, let's put it this way. He said he felt like in the past he could handle energy a certain way, but what I started to realize was he's I've said this for years. I'm like, you're just like me. I'm like, you cannot handle energy the way you think you do. Drink some water if you have it. Also, for you coffee drinkers who are like, I need my morning coffee, I just saw this thing by the motivational doc. I love him. He's like so amazing. I don't know how I've never like found him before, but he's really been helping me lately with a lot of things. Um, but he said that it's actually really, really super bad for your body to have coffee right away. It, beyond the caffeine like jolting and fucking with your nervous system like right away, it's like your body needs water. That's the first thing your body needs when you wake up. It needs water. So make sure that you have clean drinking water, whether it's near your bed or, in the kitchen, whatever. Like, if you like filtered water, leave it out. Don't put it in the refrigerator. Some people like cold water, some people don't. I know I don't, because I'm fighting the elements and all that. Not fighting, excuse me. Let me reword that. I've been doing that a lot lately. I am working with the elements, but I have learned that, you know, certain places the water will stay a little bit warmer, or if I put the heater by the water, because I don't like cold water right in the morning, although it is good for your vagus nerve. And I've been, I don't know if you guys know, but I forgot about it. I knew it, but then I forgot about it. So the vagus nerve is back here behind your ears, and if you rub it, tap it, that also kind of wakes up your system. There's a lot of things you can do to wake you up instead of being like, I need my coffee. It's like, no, you've become a slave to your coffee. You've become a slave to your addictions. It's for all of us. It's for me as well. I mean, yesterday I've been feeling this kind of like mommy, 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 kind of energy, which totally makes sense. So my mom got sick, or my mom had been sick, but I was notified of her being sick in June, and she passed away this past June, I found out, and then she passed away this August 18th, which is so funny because I lived in an 818 area code when I was in California. I've been having all these weird things with my mom, like all these things that I'm like, how did I not see that before? How did I not understand that before? Because I wasn't looking for that. I was looking for other things instead of the things that were kind of right in front of me, But anyway, so I know I'm jumping around, but that's because, there's so much happening on the planet, and that's what they want. They want our energy to be completely ungrounded, unfiltered, where people are just saying what they think and feel. I mean, it's so bizarre to me that, like, if you are following a candidate, and I'm going to go back to the ex-president running again, and you are purposely putting out there, it's like, it's so, I don't know how people can't read between the lines what's happening there. I don't see them making jokes about white people, or I don't see them making jokes or saying things about white people, or you know what I mean? It's like there's just so much in there. My knees have been hurting lately. It's just because it's getting cold and my bones, like, and I hurt myself earlier. Also, I smoked, but I forgot I put CBD on it too, which is really good because I need it to calm down when I pulled it out. I've got wintergreen and copaiba essential oils, and then I put on some CBD salve. Oh, and it's like really feeling good. But anyway, when I saw the latest silly thing about their rally, and they had a comedian that was making jokes about Puerto Rico and calling it a garbage can or whatever, I was like, it's just like, is there just, I mean, I'm like, are you all fucking blind? Is is there just not a too far for you? Like, I don't understand. You know, I mean, Kamala, she needs a lot of stuff too. I'll say her name because I am pro her and I am like mentally, like, I am fully for her. You know what I mean? Um, but also, she also needs some cleaning up because uh, she was very humble when she started, and then it's like, you know, ego can really creep up on you. And we're, you know, she's right on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio, and which is very interesting, which is awesome. That's a really cool place to be. I know actually one of the coolest, she has the same birthday as one of my friends growing up that not many people liked her, but and people would be like, dude, why are you friends with her? She is a bitch. Like, she's mean. I'm like, she may be mean. I'm like, but she just fucking says it like it is, dude. I'm like, she's not candy coating or talking behind people's backs. She'll just tell you to your fucking face. And I liked that about her. I felt like I can trust her, you know, and you know, some people may not like that, but I do, and I probably because I'm a triple Sag, and my moon's in Scorpio, which lately I've been like bawling my fucking eyes out. Like ever since Scorpio season started, I've been like so weepy. And then yesterday, I was like crying so hard, telling Alder about something that happened with she and I, our fight, and then I said, the new moon in Scorpio is on Friday. I'm like, you may want to stay away. I'm like, I have no idea. I feel like I'm going to have like some massive like breakthrough of some kind because this is my favorite time of the year. And all I've been doing is work on this house, on myself, and on the channels, but not like I wanted to, you know, like this for many moons, or I should say for many October's, a lot of you know, and fall is like I really get my groove on, you know, like my witch is in full form. I love getting witchy and dressing up and doing readings and connecting with spirit and all that. But this one is so fucking different. My mom's birthday is October 13th, and ever since her birthday, I feel like this connection with her that I can't even really explain. Um, it's so big, it's so powerful, it's so old. I've been seeing so many things about my family, my ancestry on both sides of my family. I went through this with my father when he passed too, but it was my mom is different. And I know it's because I grew inside of her and like that kind of connection, but she was also my child and she grew inside of me. So like we have this very, very deep connection. It's like my grandmother. I had such a deep connection to my grandmother, and I remember like certain people, family would, I'd say things like jokingly, you know, but I was kind of serious. I'd be like, we all know I'm grandma's favorite or whatever, and they'd be like, you know, grandma says that to everybody. They're like, you know, I'm like, yeah, but it's like, but my grandma was that type of person that like she would never say things in front of people because she didn't want to hurt them. But when it was just me and my grandma, she'd be like, you know, you're really my favorite, right? I'd be like, oh yeah, I know. You know what I mean? Like, because even though like she was really close to my aunt, you know, my one aunt who actually passed before my mom, who was younger than my mom, she was really close to her. Uh, it was the connection she and I had is different, you know, like your own children are one thing, but then your children's children are another. So, especially because my grandmother, you know, it was like 3 generations back. My sister broke the curse, so to speak, in that way because my mom, my grandmother, and my great grandmother all had each other when they were 18. Either got pregnant or had the child when they were 18, I don't remember. Um, which is interesting. But my sister didn't until I think she was 22. I'm almost positive. Which is really interesting because my niece's birthday is May 22nd. I don't know if I ever put that together. I'm sure they did. But anyway, I digress. But just all of these things that I've been looking at and seeing, like with my family. By the way, Spirit wants me, thank you so much, Spirit. We have an angel number to work with. It's 844, and they'll either have me post it or they'll have me read it to you before we end this, but I just wanted to let you know. So our angel number is 844, which is, and it was 8:44 on my phone, and so, but it's like 8 and 8, so you're the dragon. We only have not much time left with the dragons, you guys. Like, we don't have much time left with them. This is the time to really, really speak those manifestations into being. Like I said, in real time, today is Tuesday, October 29th, and the new moon. I love when the new moon is on the 1st. I know so many witches and healers and deep down believers in magic all feel this way. There's just something so powerful about it. I don't know why, but it just feels so powerful. And the fact that it's like the new moon, this is my year. Like, there's no way this isn't my year, because if this isn't my year, then I don't know what fucking year it would be. Like, there are so many things that have aligned, incredibly aligned, that it's been unbelievable. That I have done so many videos that I don't know if you guys will ever see the light of day. But it has just been so powerful. My mother's death, like, took me to a level that I was like, I don't even, to me, it's like, I know I'm in this, like, kind of holding pattern, and spirit's like, just wait, just wait, just wait. It's like when you know you're getting something big for your birthday, or like you kind of think people are planning something for your birthday, but you don't know exactly what it is, but you can feel it. That's what it feels like. And it must be, because I don't know any other way. Because literally, like, my moon is in Scorpio. Friday has always been like, even though Thursday is like Jupiter and Sagittarius, like, that's my day, like, that's my lucky day. Thursdays always seem to be really lucky for me. And when I worked in jobs and stuff, I didn't want to go out on the weekends. I wanted to party my fucking ass off on Thursday. I never understood why. Now I do. And then I would go and hung over on Friday, but it was fine, because a lot of my jobs, like, especially when I worked in an office, like, Friday was kind of like the spirits talking to us, was the kind of laid back chill day. So it was kind of like whatever. Anyway, you know, especially when I worked in advertising for like 3 or 4 years, and like Fridays were like liquid lunch day, you know what I mean? Like, and some people never came back to work. It was just a different time. It was a very, very different time. We were at the end of the era of like the Mad Men. Like, we were at the very end of that. Well, when I worked in an office was like when that, you know, you could still smoke in the office, people drank in the office, like, it was just like a very different thing. And I worked in advertising, so it was very much the same. But yeah, and then the weekend, I just wanted to fucking chill. I just wanted to chill. I didn't really, I would go out and party sometimes too, but I found like that I was like, no, I really just like wanted to, like, you know, clean my house and, like, you know, cook food and watch movies and smoke weed and, like, do my own thing. Like, that was always kind of like my jam, you know. But Friday was also like exciting because, you know, it was over. But because I was born on the 13th, whenever my birthday landed on a Friday, some people were like, "Oh, that's unlucky. Oh, you're creepy. Your birthday's creepy." Like, I heard shit like that when I was growing up. Like, and my mom's birthday was October 13th, right? So, I mean, the witchiest of the witches of the witches, October 13th. I mean, come on. She's at the, you know, the first 13th of the fall. I'm on the last 13th of the fall. Right? Because I'm a fall baby. Even though I grew up in Chicago, whereas December they'd be like, "You're a winter baby." I'm like, no, fall is like winter solstice is the 21st. I'm like, I'm technically still in fall. So I'm the end of fall. And also in the third decan of Sagittarius, which is really interesting as well. So there's been like this kind of like energy forever with me and Fridays and Friday the 13th. But for me, every Friday the 13th I've ever had has been very lucky. But I'm 52, so there's only been so many Friday the 13th, you know, there's leap year and whatever. So the last one I got my, I'll show you guys. The last time it was Friday the 13th is when I got my gypsy. And it says, Heart of an Artist, Soul of a Gypsy, and it says 2013. So yeah, so it was 11 years ago. There you go. There you go. There you go. Drink some water. So isn't that fucking interesting? So this year, and you all know, and I have a dragon tattoo. All the way up here. I'm like, let me see if I can get it up there. Let's show you. Right, so I've got a dragon tattoo, a gypsy. I mean, the fact that my birthday's Friday the 13th, on a dragon year. It's kind of like, come on, you're the dragon, like, come on. Powerful, magical, so cool. And I know in my heart and my soul that something magical is going to happen before the end of this year for me. I don't know what, but I will say this, as of right now, as I'm doing this video, I have 949 subscribers on the Magickal Medium. Now, I have done completely natural on the Magickal Medium. I could have easily, do you know how many people have reached out to me to do like free, like to make money and advertising and things like that? You know how many people I've had to turn down? And not only that, but when I found out how much it was for to advertise your page, like to like put your, you can pick whatever videos you want, shorts, long form video, and you can have it, you can pay so much money and they'll put it into like the algorithms and all that kind of stuff. But I was always told no, 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 not yet, not time. Divine timing, divine timing, divine timing. And I'm like, okay, 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 I'll hang in there, I'll hang in there, I'll hang in there. This whole entire journey since I have stepped into my leadership as my true mediumship, there's this powerful grandmother tree out there. She's saying hello to us. Thank you, grandmother. The ancestors have been pulling me along and pulling me along and pulling me along, and I have tried everything in my power to just be and go with the flow. After years and years and years and years of controlling, manipulating, not knowing, understanding why, trying to protect myself, trying to save myself, being told, you know, by the people that I loved, even though I found out later they didn't love me. I tried. I don't think I have ever tried. Like, I know now, like, I spent 5 decades trying all different ways to be loved, to be liked. Sorry, that's my back, I'm wincing. To be understood. And I just had to give up. I had to let go. Same with her. She's sleeping, but I'm going to share a little story with you. So the other day, so basically, let me back up a little bit. So after I found out my mom was ill, I went through a lot of shit. And my partner, I didn't realize was going through a lot of shit until, I have to sneeze, until, thank you. I feel like somebody just said bless you. Thank you. You know, I stopped saying bless you. If I'm around people, or like if it comes out naturally, I do. Because I know why people say it in that, but my partner never believed in that. He always thought that was really bizarre. And so I stopped saying it to him. And so I kind of stopped saying it. But anyway, I digress. There's just my allergies. Like, everything's like, it's that time of year where like we're going through, we're not just remodeling, but we're winterizing as we're remodeling, which is so much work, and it's so stressful on everybody, on all of us. But it's like bringing stuff up, not to mention like there's stuff outside and molds and all that kind of stuff. We're next to an old moldy house that's falling apart. We're far enough from it, it's fine, but it's still not good. So yeah, so I started to go down a really dark path right before solstice because I was so confused about my mom and what to do. It's like my gut was like telling me to go to her. And I couldn't, let's put it this way, I couldn't decipher whether it was my gut, my ego, my intuition. I was all over the place. And having Alder and Bubba here, Bubba was not doing very well. Like I said, she started last year having these like really bad dreads, and so she went through like this molting I've never seen her do. She might do like a little patch here and a little patch there, meaning like down to where like the dread gets so bad like she rips it and you see her bare skin. Like maybe, like this big. These were like this big. At one point in the summer, she had one whole side, like my shirt is this, she had one whole side was open, and just as that started to heal, she ripped another whole side open. I've never seen her like that. I was like, oh my God. And she was just really sickly. She couldn't keep food down. It reminded me of when I had pancreatitis. So I was like, what is happening with her? I'm like, what is going on? I used my pendulum. I meditated. I went to the vet. I'm like, what should I do? Or not the vet, excuse me. I went to the pet store, but like our pet store guy is like a holistic guy, and he's really good at like, he's like, have you tried this? And then I'm like, no, I didn't think of that. And then I would like give it to her and she would get better. And I was like, oh, I'm like, dude, you should be a vet. But anyway, just forgetting things because I got so wrapped up in fear of, should I go? Should I not go? Is she going to die? If I go, will she die? Like there was just all these things. And then on top of it, Alder was kind of, falling into his own abyss. And I just had a day where I just like summer solstice, I was just kind of manic. I wasn't really myself. And we're like, let's go out into nature. So we went out into nature. It was super magical. It was super awesome. We went up to the mountains, the Olympic Mountains, up the Hama Hama river in the Hama Hama Mountains, and we just were not in sync that day, he and I. Even in the pictures, I deleted the pictures of us because usually when we take pictures, we're really cute with each other. But there was a few pictures where he's looking at me like he wants to rip my face off, and I was like, "What is happening?" I'm like, "You're going through some dark night of the soul shit." Like, so anyway, about I think a week or so after that, I don't know if it was before 4th of July or after, but I had a fucking meltdown. Like I had a meltdown. It was bad. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, I'm like, this, you're grumpy, I'm grumpy, she's grumpy, she doesn't feel good. I go, I can't clean up after you and her. She was either, peeing or pooping outside of her litter box, or she was, puking, food or hairball. Sorry, but like, it was just, it was starting to feel like Zelda from Pet Sematary. You remember that? Where it was like, because she would be like, meow, like, give me this. Or she was just like, I just watched The Haunting again. Have you guys seen that from 1999 with Lily Taylor and Catherine Zeta-Jones, Owen Wilson, Liam Neeson? It's so good. If you haven't seen it, fucking watch it. It's so fucking good. But I just watched that again the other day. It's free on YouTube. And The Lady in White. Oh my gosh, if Spirit calls me to, I'll list some little fun thrillers for you guys to watch. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless. But in real time, we're getting to spooky time, which the veil's getting thinner. The ancestors are getting closer. But just watching them again, it's like my inner child. I got to experience things and face the fear and let it go. I remember when those movies would really scare me. When I was a kid, Salem's Lot was like, I couldn't even, the boy floating outside the window, especially because my bedroom, when I was a kid growing up, our bed was I shared it with my sister, and we had a big canopy bed, and it went up against the wall, and the only thing in front of us was the windows. It was like all windows. So I just remember like having these like waiting for that little fucking kid to like float in my window. You know what I mean? I'd be like, I was like, so I'd let everything scare me. Plus, people knew how easily I was scared, so they liked to fucking scare me and spook me. But I worked in a haunted house with my family when I was a kid. That was a fun thing we did. But anyway, so yeah, so work with your inner child stuff too. I just cracked my knuckles. There's just so many things have been happening, but yeah, I just started to notice like Alder and myself, like just everything was just not. I'm like, what the fucking fuck is going on? Like, why are we like, we just were not syncing up. We went from being in Loverville in May and moving to this new area, loving it, going on adventures, just like being super happy. We were in a really good place, like all the way around. We were finally like free from like the drama of the rent-to-own cabin and what was once our benefactor became our, destroyer. It felt like, just their abuse and just dealing with how abusive they were and their stuff, and just like, it was so bizarre. And I was like, dude, we need to decompress. I'm like, we just spent almost 2 years being abused by this family and being abused by this person. And I'm like, we really, it's like we had 5 years living at the farm with our old landlord, which a lot of you guys know. It was like we had divine feminine for 5 years and then divine masculine for almost 2 years as our landlord's elders that we loved and trusted dearly, that like just kept turning on us whenever that it felt, whenever they wanted to get what they wanted and didn't get what they wanted. And if you notice, I don't talk about them anymore because I had to finally, some of you know this and some of you don't, but I had to finally, like, I had to shut them out because they were just showing up to my house. It was getting kind of borderline creepy, telling me, like, begging me to leave my husband, telling me that he was in love with me. It was, really like, I deserve better. He can give me the world. And he did have money, but I was like, he was also financially just like a mess. And like, I'm like, dude, I'm like, he was the richest, poorest person, like, not to speak out of school, but like, I just couldn't take the lies and the manipulation anymore. And it was like, I tried and tried and tried. And I know he tried too, and we tried with him, but like, it just, some people, 8 decades of being a certain person, or of, not being a certain person, but evolving into that person would take, I mean, look at, I'm still unpacking so much shit, and I've only had 5 decades. Which, by the way, on December 13th, Friday the 13th, I'm going to be 53. And what is that? The number 8. And what is 8? The dragon. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, how can it not be? But yeah, so, I feel like that was karma with them. Karma with both of them. It was like, I mean, she reminded me so much of my mom. She even knew my mom and grew up with my mom, even though I met her 2,200 miles away from where I grew up. I mean, what are the odds, So this is when I really look at all this and I'm like, this is my story. Like, this is my fucking movie. I am the star of my movie, just like you are the star of yours, I'm the co-star of your movie right now, right? Or like, maybe if you're like in our group like that, but if not, maybe I'm just somebody, that you watched a show one time and you don't even know my name or whatever, but I gave you that little snippet that like woke you up or helped you figure something out, But we all play a part in each other's story and each other's movies. And this one and we've been together for so long. And when I got her, she was fluffy and cute and sweet. She hadn't been fixed yet. She was the most darling, joyful, happy, would snuggle with me. I mean, I could like pick her up and like twirl her around. Like, we gave kisses and slept together. And I was like, I thought she was like my dream cat, Then she went into heat and I had to fix her because even though, you're not supposed to do that, it happened in February. She went into heat, and I lived in a small apartment building. It was an old vintage building, and my neighbors were like all banging on my door at like 2 a.m. Like, they're like, I got literally like eviction notices, like if I didn't take care of it, that they were gonna, all the cats from the neighborhood would like come up to our window and shit. It was crazy. So I had to fix her. And after that, it was like she went from being fluffy, sweet Dolly Parton pickles to like Baba Yaga was born. I'm not even joking. It was like overnight. But it also happened because when she was in heat, she literally was like, it would get so bad that I couldn't sleep either. So I would throw pillows at her to be quiet. I never hit her. And I know that back then I was an asshole. I mean, I was a total jerk. But, it was like a throw pillow, like this. Like, she'd be at the window and I would like throw it at the wall just to get her attention. And I'd be like, stop. I'm like, enough. So finally I learned that the catnip would make her crazy for a minute, but then it would like kind of pass her out. So, but it was a rough time. So this isn't the first time we've been through rough times together, But this last year, this molting was so different. And I'm like, I don't know how old she is. So I don't really know. I mean, for all I know, when I got her, she was obviously in heat, but she wasn't, because I got her like around Valentine's Day. And I think I had her fixed like the first week in March. It wasn't long. I only had her like 2 or 3 weeks. And the meowing only went on for about a week. Till finally I was like, I have to get her fixed. And I like literally called ASPCA and I was like, I need help. And the lady that helped me rescue her was like, oh, no, we got you. they were going to pay for it, but it wasn't even that. It was that they didn't have an opening, and then I told them what was happening. I'm like, they're going to evict me. So they like took us in like a last minute case. But yeah, so it's definitely been rough. But this last summer, I feel like she went through that, just like we, like the planet, all of us, like we're all going through that. So of course Bubba's going through a metamorphosis. I don't know if your animals are. Feel free to comment below, like, what have you gone through this year? This is just my story, but obviously everybody's going through this. Like, everybody on the planet is recognizing that something is changing. People are looking at the ex-president running for president and being like, what is wrong with you? Like, how can you not see yourself as a fucking dictator? Like, how can you not see yourself as an elitist, fucking creepy, like, oh, you keep in your country, we keep in our... It's like, no, the world's a big place. The world is free. You don't get to decide where the white people live and where the black people live and where the Puerto Ricans live. Like, what the fucking fuck? We're all human beings. Because we have different hair and skin color. I mean, it's just so ridiculous. You'll let an animal... You'll let an animal live in your home, but you won't talk to someone because of their background, because they're poor, or because, of who they love or who they have sex with or whatever. Like, I mean, it's just like, it's so bizarre to me, I mean, on the flip side, hi, sweetheart, Robin Bird is here. That's Jesus. Hi, Jesus. Jesus is here to say hello, right? Like, this is about unconditional love. Earth is just this beautiful place of unconditional love. And peace and understanding and compassion. There's this robin bird that's like sitting like on the, like right outside my window right now, like just talking to us. Hi, sweetheart. You should see how pretty they are. I could pick you up and bring you there, but oh, you know what? They just told me something. My laptop's about to run out. Hold on. I'm gonna see if this goes. Maybe it'll let me, maybe it won't. Hold on. Yeah, thank you, Robin Bird. Oh my gosh, when I looked up, it was 4646. What is 4 and 6? 10. What is 4 and 6? 10. 10, 10. Oh my gosh. Because it's about to be done. That's why they're saying this. Like, we're at the completion. They don't want us to have any fear right now. So that's what I started to realize what was happening. Is I was in a lot of fear. I was afraid of losing Alder. I was afraid of losing Bubba. I was afraid of losing my mom. And it was my own reading that came back at me and said, fear's not real. Like, this. Like, don't feed into it. Like, don't feed into it. And then I started to realize, like, yeah, thank you so much, Robin Bird. I totally get it. Thank you, Jesus. I started to really understand what's happening, and that's what they're doing. It's very, very divisive what they're doing, and they will be their own undoing, is what I'm hearing from Spirit. It's like, let them keep fucking talking, let them say these outlandish, creepy, fucked up, like, you know what I mean? Like, let them. Oh my gosh, thank you, Mel Harris. Mel Harris. Okay, so if you don't know Mel, I'm pretty sure her last name is Harris. I follow her on one of my channels, and you'll see some of her, I put like her little screenshots sometimes, because she puts like really good little snippets for learning and things like that. Speaking of my grandma, this necklace was my grandma's. It broke, but I still keep it around. But she has a new book that she just released, or it's about to come out, called Let Them. If somebody gets angry with you, if somebody calls you names, blah, 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 let them. If somebody is talking shit about you and saying, oh my gosh, did you see they're dressing weird, they're weird, whatever, let them. Who cares? If you are happy with yourself, you will not fucking care about what other people are saying about you and what they think about you. Yeah, I can put makeup on and get all ready. I know I look like probably to some people death, and like I had a lady in the store who was like, oh, your liver, you need to work on your liver, that's what those dark spots are. I'm like, I'm doing my best, like I eat vegan, and Spirit has been having me eat a certain way to help my body in this way, and then I'm also eating this way to help my inner child work through some stuff. And so, I'm doing the best I can, and you're doing the best you can. So in the end, I didn't go see my mom. Alder and I lived apart for 3 months, and it's been really, 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 really good. In some ways, it's been so good, and I've been so grateful that we've had this time. apart. But it's also like there are days where I'm like, what are we doing? And we finally had like this kind of breakthrough the other day where I was like, we both tend to be all or nothing, and we're realizing like that's not working for us. So we're even renegotiating our relationship. But the one thing we realized is that we're still in love and we still want to try. And um, we're just both going through so much. And Bubba too. Like, I've never seen her like this. I mean, she's really, really thin, and she doesn't have a mane. She's her fur isn't growing in the way it used to, but she's also never molted like this before. So, it's like I don't really have anything to compare it to. So my first instinct is that she's dying, So I've been kind of treating her. I've just been letting her do whatever she wants to do because my other animals that I had that, you know, I lost, a lot of I had like a semi-foster system that I did in my 20s, and I only ever gave one animal back, but basically I took a lot of animals that were at the end of their life that still had some life in them, but people wanted to put them down or they wanted to get rid of them, and I was like, no, they still got some life in them. Or they were abandoned, because they weren't a puppy anymore, or they weren't cute anymore. They were big. But anyway, I know what death looks like. Like, I've watched feline leukemia. I take, two of my cats, spent thousands of dollars to try and keep them alive. And, I know what it looks like. And everything that Baba was showing me was that she's dying. And I was like, dude, if you're dying, like, that's okay. Like, I will miss you terribly and I'm going to be sad. I'm like, but if you got to go, I'm like, you go. Sorry, that back is like... That's why I was sitting like that before. I don't think I can. I kind of wired my... Oh, shit. Ooh, I'm going to take that as a sign. I kind of wired my system here. I redid my space, and I'm trying to not pull it apart right now. Okay, so a lot of you know I have like this... Hold on. Toad the Wet Sprocket. I also have an owl here. This was gifted to me by Anna. So both of them have messages inside. So I'm going to kind of sit like that. Okay. So I know I'm a little close. I feel like Bubba wants to be... Bubba, do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hello? I feel like she wants to say hi. Do you want to say hi, Mama? Anyway, so I've just been babying her. Maybe a little too much, just letting her do what she wants to do, like to the fact that like we have this big queen size bed and like I'm like off in a corner and she has like this whole side, or I've been sleeping on the couch so she can just like have her space on the bed. You see how small this couch is. It's a love seat. I'm 5'2". I mean, I'm little, but still. But in the last week it's been getting colder and I've been getting, no wonder why my back hurts, right? I'm sleeping on this, little couch out here. It's getting, in the one night it got down to 39, it's that time of year. So I go to sleep in the bedroom and she was not having it. And I was like, dude, this is my fucking bedroom. I'm like, enough. I'm not going to argue with you about this. I'm like, enough. So I go to sleep. She goes to sleep. I wake up in the morning, like the sun's not even really up yet, and her body was this way, my body was this way, but our faces were like this, and she was about maybe that far from me, and our eyes, we were like locking eyes, and I'm like, good morning, I'm being all sweet with her, I'm like, hi, I'm like, I love you, and she gets up, and she starts to crawl on me, and I couldn't tell if she was crawling over me to get up and eat and go to the bathroom or if she was coming to lay on me. She does that, right? But I'm on my stomach. So I'm on my stomach and I've got a few layers of clothes on. I've got, my duvet, the duvet cover. I'm all snugly cozy, and I see her, she's like kind of like, kneading. All these things are normal. She wasn't doing anything that she doesn't normally do. And then all of a sudden she got like calm, and I started to fall back asleep, and I was like, oh, she's warm and cozy. I'm like, oh, I'm like, Baba, I'm like, you're nice and warm. And then I was like, wait, all of a sudden I felt like my whole back was getting warmer and warmer and warmer, and then I realized, and I'm like, oh, I'm like, are you peeing on me? I'm like, oh my god, she fucking peed on me. So you can imagine, with my moon in Scorpio, that didn't go over very well in Scorpio season. It happened 2 nights ago. Yeah, so that was our fight. That was our argument. I'm like, get the fuck out of my house. I was like, how dare you disrespect me? It'd be different if she was like elderly and I was like, oh, buddy, it's okay. You had an accident. You know what I mean? Like, you had an accident. I was like, that would be, because she's been peeing outside of her litter box, and like, because we've been remodeling and like moving things around. So she's been doing things like this for a while. She really liked living in the cabin. First of all, we were up high. There weren't a lot of critters up there. We had a bear family up there, but we never really saw them. We saw their scat, and we saw like that they lived there, and there was a deer family, but we didn't really get a lot of coyotes up there. So they'd come through on the bottom, but they didn't come all the way up to the top of the hill. So she could go outside. We had a nice deck outside and furniture that she could sit on. You know, all those years we were locked up in Big Camper. Then we were locked up in this one for like a year and whatever, year and a half, you know, by the time we got into the cabin. And then, you know, it was a 2-bedroom, 1 bath with a loft. We didn't use the loft, and the other bedroom we didn't really use, but like she had it, we used it for storage, but we had furniture in there. And so I had like couches, like we had like a chaise like by the window. So that was like her little room. That was her space. So when we moved back into here, she just was never the same. It was almost like she was like, no fucking way, like I'm not doing this. It was like me when I was like, no, I'm not moving back in, I'm not, you know. And all summer we were looking for places. All summer we were like, you know, trying to sell the van again, and the Volkswagen van, and things weren't just not coming together the way that I thought they were going to come together. And then I started to realize in August, I'm like, dude, we're not going anywhere. I'm like, I have a feeling we're staying on this property. He told us we can only stay until September because he was going to be doing construction on the house. And so he had people coming out to bid all in August. We were looking for somewhere to live. He had other properties, so he was like, you know, don't stress. If you don't find a place, you know, you can go on one of my other properties. Like, it's no big deal. Like, so we weren't like stressed about it. But, you know, I told you guys, like, we were interviewing for jobs, like work trades. We were looking, saving our money, looking for places. You know, we were going to sell this and sell the van. And I was like, even if we sell on the low end, we'd have tons of money left over. Even if we rented a place, I'm like, we'll be fine. Like, we were like, we got everything, you know, together. Well, don't go on there, honey. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, you're stuck. Hold on. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I've told you 100 times not to jump on that table. Have I not told you that? See, like, she doesn't want to listen. Hold on. She might want to go outside. Okay, I did not plan this, but when I stopped it was 57:57. Which is also 12:12, which is also 3:3. So if that means anything to anybody, but that's so interesting. But see, she wanted to go outside. Because people don't realize, like, Bubba is not just a cat. She's my familiar, but I don't know how old she is. Oh, sorry, my back. I have no idea. She won't tell me. She's told me so many different things that I don't believe her. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe her. She told me her birthday is this time. She told me, and I've used the pendulum, everything. Like, it's like I'm not supposed to know, you know? And I've always said to her, you're going to die an old lady on your bed, like in your sleep on your bed, warm. And, you know, because I've had to put so many animals down. But it got really ugly. Like the other day where I was like, that's it. I'm like, I'm putting you down. I'm like, that's it. I'm like, enough. I'm like, and I've never said that to her like that. But I was like, I am done. I'm done with this Zelda, you know, Pet Cemetery relationship, you know, like, you know, or like the haunting with the cane. Get me what I want. I mean, she's just, and I've allowed it. Before I'd be like, hey, knock it off. Like, I would like put her in her place, like, you know, and she'd be like, and she would, if she acted up, she would come over and apologize, you know, she'd be like, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's cool. But this was different. I mean, I'm like,
I'm like, here I am, like having this moment where I'm like, I love you. Like, I'm thinking we're having this like gentle moment, and she's like fucking scheming of what she's gonna do. She's so sly. You know what I mean? Like, she could have jumped down and gone to the bathroom. Like, that's what I'm saying. If I felt like, because I was like, do you have dementia? I said that to her. I'm like, do you have dementia? Like, what is happening? Like, tell me what to do. And then it was bad. I kicked her out. Um, I had to chase her out of my bedroom. I used a branch, but like with like evergreen, you know what I mean? Like nothing. It was like fluffy. I mean, it wasn't like I hurt her or spanked her. It was like I'm like, get out of my room. I'm like, you're done. I'm like, you are done. Because what I realized was happening was that the area that she's usually in, we've got a lot of storage and things right there because we're still working on the remodel. I told her, we've been telling her about the remodel. We've been talking her through it for months. We told her it was going to happen. I said, Baba, it's going to be uncomfortable for everybody. I'm like, you're not the only one. I'm like, it's going to be uncomfortable for all of us. Drink some water. And she didn't want to hear it. So she was slowly taking over my bedroom without me realizing. That's how fucking sly she is. That's how she really does like, you know, I look like the fucking scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz right now. My nose is red. I have to laugh about it. I love the way I look. I'm like, I love my fun, funky, like whatever, and like there's like still like a semi version of a braid still in my hair, but whatever. Anyway, I digress again. Back. So that was her. That was her trying to take over the territory. That was her like saying, I said stay out of my room. I let you sleep here. Get the fuck out. And I was like, oh no. Which is interesting because the way that we've been working on the remodel, we're not going to have a door anymore to the bedroom. We were just going to have it like one open space, like a studio, because I was like, that's actually better, like energy wise, but also we're putting in a wood stove. And I was like, it'll keep the bedroom, like it'll keep the whole house more uniform warm, you know, if we do that. So now I told him, I'm like, I don't know what we're going to do. We're going to have to figure this out. And, you know, because I was like, he's like, when I told him, he was like, oh my God. He's like, cats don't do that. I go, no. That's a vicious, vindictive, like, I got Palo Santo, like, so anyway, so yeah, so the fight was really bad. I threw her outside. Well, I didn't throw her outside. I said, get out. And she ran outside. And then she stayed outside all day, even through the rain. I even invited her back in when the rain was coming down. And she was like, it was almost like, she was like, no, I'm going to stay in the rain. I'm like, then fucking get wet. I go, but if you are wet, you can't come back in the house. So I'm like, you know, so when she came back in the house, I wouldn't let her on the couch and she had to be on the floor. And that started a whole fight. That's what I'm saying. Like, if she had dementia or like whatever, like, it's like, no, this is a fucking calculated animal who knows exactly what she's doing. And she's old and she wants things the way she wants them. And I'm like, I get that you're my elder. I get that, like, in that way, you're an elder. I'm like, but in like the spirit world, there's no such thing. You know what I mean? Like, you're not my fucking elder. I'm like, it got to a point where I was like, you are a cat and you signed on to be a fucking cat. And I'm like, but this is my house. And I had to like take my house back. And I didn't realize how much I had allowed her to like overstep the boundaries. And even with Alder, like I noticed, like I was so excited when he first came back and like we're turning his VW van into a little tiny home for him, and he's like really excited. I'm excited for him. We found like some really cool piece of furniture for it. Like it's been really, really, like we've been having fun, like building things. We're building a deck on the outside because we're like where we are on this farm. It's like 5 acres, but like where we are, it's like grass. You know what I mean? Luckily, because we're so close to the coast, it's mostly sand underneath. So he said the other day, he goes, have you noticed that the water doesn't pool up very long? He's like, that's because we're on the coast. He's like, we're on the edge of the land. He's like, it's mostly sand. I said, yes, but also I'm like, we can't have the canopy up because we had 2 windstorms in the last 3 weeks that were like 28 miles per hour. There was one that was up to 50 miles per hour. It didn't hit us, thank goddess, but it almost ripped our fucking awning off. So we had to pull it back, and I got from Spirit, like, we're done. So we were very spoiled to have that awning. And when we had this before, we had it up the whole time. It was so great. It was so great. At Sarah's, when we lived on that farm, we were under a, structure, so we didn't have to have an awning, but we didn't really have an outside either. Not really. That was protected. So here it's just too windy, like it's like we're dealing with like gale force winds, where when you're on the coast, like you just can't, you just have to deal with it. So it's just like everything has been changing. So I'm like, so we need a deck because we need something to like put our storage stuff like on top of. I don't want it on the ground, like that also promotes mold and all that. And so we found this really cool way to like build a deck, and we've been collecting pieces for that, but we still have to stain it. So that's what I mean. It's like we've been like nonstop. That's why you're getting old readings, but they still apply and they're awesome on the Magickal Medium. And why I haven't been doing as much as I would like to do this time of year is because we are just full on working on getting us winterized, because there will soon be a time where we probably won't be able to go outside for days on end, And when it's like that, you have to make sure that everybody's comfortable. And as much as Alder and I love each other's company, we really love being alone. And there's nothing wrong with that. We both equally like being alone. And I don't want him to feel like he always has to just be in his car, because living in your car, even though he has like it's like they're almost the same size. They're both minivans, but his car minivan is like also his work. So it's like he's 6'2". He can't really sprawl out, because at the end of it is like, his tools and things like that. I mean, he keeps a lot of big stuff here, and like he keeps like his big, expensive stuff. Like he keeps like in a locked hanger. One of his regular customers, who's very well to do and collects vintage cars, has like a airplane hanger for his cars, and he loves Alder. Like this community up here, the vintage car community, the wealthy car community guys, like love him. Like they all know him now, and because he's so reasonable, and he goes to their house, so they like love him, and he does really well up here. But anyway, he was so gracious that he's like, I have all this space, like you don't have to pay me rent, just like, when you need it, just let me know. And so that's really cool. And we've been going through so much. We broke down a bunch of stuff. We did a big dump run. Like we just feel cleaner. Like everything feels lighter. Now the next thing we need to do is finish knocking out these last group, this last section. We're hoping to do that before December, and I have a big laundry thing to do. Like I have to do all the bedding, because I live off grid, I have to have extra everything, like 20 pairs of socks and 10-15 pairs of comfy pants, and because I don't get to just do laundry every day like I like to. And I haven't gone to the laundromat since like I think it was like Labor Day weekend, so it's been a minute. So I have a lot to do. And but once we do that, and once we like get that done, we'll be set up for the winter. She what she doesn't understand is like we're making like this one, like almost like a third of the place is going to be like a fun jungle gym for her. Maybe not a third. Okay, a quarter, maybe a quarter. But I don't want her in my room, because after that happened, I was like, I mean, she still hasn't, she kind of semi-apologized, but it wasn't the apology she used to when she knew she did wrong. You know what I mean? This was more like, she's like, fuck you. I don't want to live like this. I don't want to be like this. I'm like, dude, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I'm like, I cannot make the weather, better. I cannot, I mean, I could, but I don't. Because just because I want a nice weather day doesn't mean it's supposed to be a nice weather day for everybody, I have manipulated the weather before, actually many times, especially when I'm with other witches. Wherever two or more gather, it's really powerful what you can do. That's the thing, is we haven't been told what we can do. We've been told what we can't do. And they've been telling us that so they can control us and rule us, but they're not going to do that anymore. So, but anyway, so now my family, my mom passed. I went through that. I'm still going through that. And as we get closer to Samhain, which is, Halloween, Day of the Dead, Dios de los Muertos, this is a very pivotal time. Basically for me, from the 30th to the 2nd, the 3rd is usually when I can, like, I'm not really doing spirit work. I'm not around people. I'm not like, I can't. Like, I'm so close to the ancestors. It's like they're here, and I love it. Like I told Alder, I was like, yesterday, I'm like, I need a fucking break. We had all these plans for today, and it just didn't go the way I wanted it to go. And We take showers at the local campground because we have a pass, you know, so we can take showers there. But they close up on the 31st. So we're going to go take showers tomorrow. I'm going to do shopping for the ancestors, which I love to do, and make soup, and I really love it. We took a break on remodeling and all. I'm like, let's take a break for like a week or two. We were trying to get it done. Our wedding anniversary is 11/11, and this year it's 11/11/2024. So it's like kind of powerful. For us, it's a 4-year. It's our 4-year, which is half of 8. But also it's so it's 11/11. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 12. Oh yeah, that's right. That's what you're saying. It was a 12, but it's a 3. Like I feel like me, him, and Bubba, like the 3 of us will be back together again. Also, she has been very bratty since he left. They have really cultivated this really wonderful relationship. I'm like, when she wants snuggles and like, you know, mommy, best friend, let's have fun, I'm that person. But when she wants calm, centered, it's Alder. And so Alder hasn't been here, and that has been really tough on her too. And I wasn't sure up until a few days ago whether or not Alder and I were going to continue. And so, you know, I'd say things to her like, I know you miss him. I'm like, but, you know, there's a good chance that he's not going to come back for good, you know? I'm like, there's a good chance we're going to break up, buddy. I'm like, you need to, like, you know, keep your mind open about that. Because she kept saying, like, well, he'll be back. And I'm like, I don't know, Bubba. I'm like, I don't know. Because there were many, many times where, like, I asked him over the 3 months, not every time we were together, but, like, at least every other time I'd be like, how are you feeling? Like, how are you feeling about us? Like, how are you, you know? And it was getting to the point where he's like, I don't know. He's like, and I go, do you think you, like, want to be single? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, okay, you know, I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, then, you know, whatever. And then it was like, the more like he identified with being single and the more he identified with that world and that life, the less he was kind to me. And it was like getting to the point where I'm like, just because we're not getting back together doesn't mean you have to like be curt or, you know. He's like, I'm just in a mood, or I'm just blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And it was very, very difficult, but I just was like, okay. And it was good for both of us because we had to learn about attachment and like letting go and letting him figure out who he is and letting me figure out who I am. And even right now, all we know is that we want to, because I said to him, I go, do you want to take your van and go live somewhere else? I'm like, I'm not going to be upset. Like, if that's what you need, then you know, just help me until I can, you know, figure out whatever I need to do. And we'll, you know, I'm like, go do what you got to do. And I said, why don't you think about it? I go, just think about it, you know. Once we had, you know, I was like, because he said something really cute one day that I started to see the door open back up between us. And he's like, I'm paraphrasing, but he said something like, I need to listen to you or something. Like, he's like, when you tell me like your intuition, like, he's like, and I'm unsure. He's like, I need to, it's like, because he fights me. Instead of me saying, dude, I am telling you 100% this is the way it is, he'll fight me on it. And I'm like, I'm not like your parent. This isn't like a defiant moment of like, you know, I'm like, I'm a psychic medium, telepathic medium, like empath, like, and it wasn't like about, oh, look at me, like I'm so awesome. I'm like, I'm Lily White. I was so tan for this summer. Oh well. I feel like in 16 Candles, which is free on YouTube this month, which is crazy. She's like, oh my gosh, she's like, I don't have any summer left on me or something like that. And I was like, oh, I feel that. I was starting to watch it again, but then I was like, I know it too well. I need to just stop. But yeah, anyway, it was just a good moment. And I started to like see that I'm like, yeah, that's what's been missing is the respect. You know, he doesn't respect and appreciate like who I am and what I do. It's not like I'm like, look at me. I'm a medium and take my advice every time. No, it's just like when I know something and I'm like, you know, or I'm feeling something with every fiber of my being and he fights it, he's learned now that it's usually not the way to go, that he really should listen. And, you know, because all it is his higher self telling him, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm like, dude, this isn't, let me see if I could take this off the charger for a minute.
I'm like, this isn't like me just trying to, you know, be the ruler of the story, or like trying to tell him who he is. It was more like, hey, I know I'm right, and you need to learn your lessons, but there's learning the lessons, and then there's just like living in an addiction, and not listening could be an addiction too. Like not listening to your intuition, like, because that's self-sabotage. And he knows that, and he like that was a big part of his therapy, was his self-sabotage. And so I was like, I'm trying to help you not self-sabotage. So long story short, with all that we've been through and everything, he's gonna stay here, which I'm excited. And but he's still gonna like go in his other van, like when he wants to take off, or he can drive this one. It's drivable, it's all the tags, like it's valid. So because he doesn't know the vehicle that well, he's like, I want to wait until we have, in our insurance, we have tow package, but like he likes to go really far distances, so he wants to get like the 200 plus mile tow package through AAA. He wants to do that instead, which I totally understand, because it's a vintage vehicle, and he's like, I don't want to fuck with it, you know. So I think he's going to do that this week or next week. He's going to do that. He's like, there's no reason for me to do it until I need it, or I know I'm going somewhere, because we haven't finished the rebuild of it. So that's what we've been doing. That's what we've been working on. And I just kind of wanted to tell you guys, like, you're not alone, and just update you what's been going on with us and Baba. And, you know, Baba finally came back in yesterday. It was raining, and I was like, you can come in, you know. Well, I made her come in that night, because I tricked her in with some treats, because I was like, I wouldn't be able to sleep. There's too many coyotes around here. I'm like, I literally wouldn't have been able to sleep knowing that she was out there. And it was cold, and it was rainy, and she probably could have found somewhere to hide, but I was like, no, you're coming in. So then yesterday she was in and out, and I made her a little spot on the couch, and then she tried doing it again with the couch, and I was like, listen, I know you don't have an area. Normally she has an area. She had 2 chairs in the whole front end of the RV. It's all windows, and the big dashboard, like, it goes out really far. She can like sprawl out there, and I had blanket when we first moved here, or when we first got into this. I made that's always been like her spot. She has blankets and all that, but I just haven't gone to the laundry. I haven't washed everything. Like, I haven't winterized. We haven't fully winterized it to that point yet. That's when I need to go to the laundromat and get all that. In fact, I'm like, we have to buy more blankets too, because what I'm thinking is, if we're going to tear down that wall, he's like, what did we do before? Because I was like, well, I feel like we used to do something before, because she didn't pee on the bed, but she used to puke. Like, she just, you know, she would get a hairball. And he's like, we put that blanket, and it was this blanket we didn't care about, and we always put that over the bed, so that and it was really thick, and so if she puked or if something happened, it wouldn't like go onto the bed. And so we let her go on the pillows, we let her go on everything, because the blanket was so thick. And he's like, that's what we need to do. And I go, that's what we need to do. So I think, you know, it's just change. We're all going through change right now, and the energy on the planet is so intense. And it doesn't help that people are spreading rumors that after the election, if things don't go the way that people want them to, they're gonna, like, you know, do things. I mean, it's like, all these threats. Of course, they're trying to keep people in fear. They want to keep people in control. But if people stand up and say, you know what, do what you like, let them, right? Like is it Mel Robinson? No, I think it's Mel Harris. But either way, let them. We just have to, you know, just stay in as high a vibration as possible. You know, if you're struggling with family members like I am, and living in the same household, like, just, you know, let people do what they're going to do. Leave when you can leave. You know, like right now, I was glad Baba decided to go outside, because I'm just like, oh, good. Also, by the way, it's so kind of creepy outside. I wonder if it's like that out here. Hold on. Oh, you can't see it as much. Can you guys see that? It's kind of, but not as strong as over here. All right, don't look at my dirty kitchen, but look at, can you see the fog? Ew! Yeah, my house is not, although my altar is really cute right now. Yeah, because we're in the middle of remodel. So that's like, so I guess I'll show you guys. So that's the part we're taking out. We're taking that whole side out. The bathroom, that wall, this, the microwave, all that is going out. We're gonna put the rest of the kitchen back in here because this is kind of like our faux mock kitchen right now, as you can see. That's Bubba's towel. But yeah, see like what I mean? See how we have like I have things like all stored. Ugh, it's not easy. It's not easy living like this. It's never been easy living like this. And I get it, you know, like I understand Bubba's misery, you know. I mean, I get it, but I know that she knows too. You know what I mean? Like I know that she knows. But she doesn't care because she's like, well, you should have done it this summer when it was nice outside and I was outside every day. You know what I mean? Like that's her, that's how she thinks, that's how she is. And I know that people are like, oh, come on. I'm like, you think I'm kidding? When she peed on me, I lost my noodle. Mostly because I was like, it's just such a sign of disrespect. Like, you know, yeah, these are, isn't this lovely? It comes off like it's just early in the morning, and it's because we have the propane heater, even though I have windows open, but I ran the propane heater full blast last night because it was so fucking cold in here. But see how that door is shut? That's my bedroom. I don't know, we got to figure something out because I mean there's just I don't even want, honestly, after that I don't trust her. I go, you know what's really weird? I go, is I went through this whole thing with Alder and trust, and now I'm going through this with her with trust. Oh, it's getting darker, and oh, it's like really like creepy right now. I love it. It's the fog coming in. Oh, I do like living in a port town in that way. It's kind of fun and eerie, especially so close with the ancestors coming in. I'm telling you what, man, these ancestors are going to open a can of whoop ass. That's what I think's going to happen. I'm not kidding you. Something's going to happen. Something major is going to happen, even more than what's happening with this racist shit. Because everybody knows he's a racist. Everybody knows, you know, whatever. It's like that person that's like, I'm not racist. I have a black friend. I have a black friend. They're like, you know, but it's like the way they say it, you know, where you're like, or they'll say like, you know, I have an Indian friend or like whatever. And it's like, oh, okay. You know, okay. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, so there's just a lot of like, there's so much fakery and fuckery about, and it's just time. It's just time. It's time. If she does not win, something major will happen either way, because I really, no, she's going to win. She's going to win. She's already won. As far as I'm concerned, she's already won, you know, because, you know, he just lacks so much empathy and compassion, and I don't know how people can't see that, you know. But there's a lot of hate, and we've been bred to hate for so many millennia. Like, we've been bred to, like, you know, to have these kind of class system, you know. It's just so messed up. So the rest of the world, we're all, you know, we're all like, fuck this. There's more, I feel in my heart that there's more people that want a better place than people that want to go back to, like, what do you want to go back to? This was like, the whole point was this was supposed to be a place where people can, like, break away from the tyranny of the monarchy. That was the whole fucking point. We wanted to have where we elect our leaders. Not like, it's like they just took over. They came here. They may as well be the redcoats right now. Trump is like the redcoats. I mean, look at it like that. You know, like they're here for the queen, right? They're here to, like, because the queen's like, oh yeah, you know, we're going to take over that territory too. England. I mean, I'm from that part of the world. My family is, my lineage is. But I mean, there's a reason why I'm in America, not in England. Otherwise I would have been born in England. I was meant to be born here. I was meant to, like, fight here. I was meant to fight the good fight here on American soil, as an American, as a born bred American, as, like, several generations American. I do not want a country that is run by oppressive men. You know, it's like there is no, like, I saw something recently where Cyndi Lauper said, we just want to be equal. My God, just, like, that's it. Just give us a chance to be equal. That's all we've ever asked for, is to just be equal, be treated as an equal. That's all we've ever asked for. Okay, it's getting darker in here, and I've been rambling on for an hour and 24 minutes.
So I hope this helped you in any way. I love you, I love you, I love you. I am going to go and make some soup. And I think I'm going to watch a movie because, oh, I do know this. I don't know when. I think it might be on Samhain. I don't know when. But I am going to do a new reading. A message from the ancestors. Unless there's some old one that I don't remember and they're going to have me post it, maybe. But I told Alder, I'm like, we both need a break. You know, like, so tomorrow we're going to like run errands and take showers and do all that. But then I'm like, you can stay around here. I'm like, or you can go. I'm like, but I'm like, I need a break from like the world. Like, I need a break before, especially before we dive into that, because this is like taking out walls and like plumbing. And like, this is, we've done all the other things to like prepare us for this. And now that's like our big thing. That's like the big one. That's the one that we have to do. And we may decide to wait and do it over the spring. I don't know. We're going to talk about it. I kind of feel like we have the green light from Spirit to do it. But I don't know what's going on with the situation with Baba. And it's just, I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to see what's going to happen. But yeah, so I'm going to be doing, I keep in meditation this morning, I asked Spirit if they, you know, how may I serve, how can I help? And for a few days I've been feeling the ancestors. So I feel like I'm going to do some type of pick a reading for the Magickal Medium, like, you know, message from the ancestors. But before we go, I do want to do this, and maybe they'll have me post this at the Magickal Medium. I don't know, but do we have any messages, Spirit, before we go? I just shake it with my hand over it, and like whatever falls out is what falls out. And you see there's little pieces falling out here and there. That's it. Okay. Oh, there goes one more. Oh, one more. One more. Also, I've really been wanting to do live stuff on the Magickal Medium and here. Like, I was like, wouldn't it be fun to do like live? And I keep hearing no, because when I'm live, people can kind of vampire off my energy, and so they're like, not right now. Like maybe when you're feeling better, when you're feeling stronger. But that's why I haven't been doing more lives, because there's just too many vampires out there right now and too much that's happening. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I just saw White Aged. Sorry, as we were talking about Trump. I don't normally say his name, but at Sim. Okay. Ooh, this looks like vote. It looks like a V, an O, a T, and an E. So make sure to vote. And this is saying at Sim. I don't know if that means anything to anybody. At Sim. Okay, so I have White Aged. I've Recycled and Ring. Okay, so I don't know if that means anything to anybody. I don't know what the fuck that is. Is that an animal? Is that an owl? It's like a, I don't know. And then I have We Northwest. Or it could be Mu. It's NW, so that could be initials, or MU, it could be initials, because I saw it as Northwest, and then like my hand just kind of naturally turned it over, and then I saw MU, so if that means anything. I feel like I need to do a little shorts for this. The letter I, more, the word more, small, DN, or up. Oh, that's so weird. Upside down, it looks like DN. So these could be initials. DN could be a name. And then the word up to 6, whatever that means. So up to 6, if somebody's, does that mean anything to anybody? Extract, simple, fat. Ooh, extract the simple fat. What does that mean? And then open. That is interesting. Okay, so let's see what our little owl has to say. So this is Toad the Wet Sprocket, and this is Olive. Olive the Owl. She's had different names. She's been Matilda, but she's been Olive lately. Okay, any messages from here? Okay, we have Project. Interesting. Ooh, I just put, Project 17. What? I just got the chills. What does that mean? Project 17. An R. What's on this side? And the. And an R. Okay. Any more? Oh, gosh, those just threw. Only N. Or it could be a Z, depending on the way you look at it. It could be an N or it could be a Z. Okay, so if this means anything, any more messages from this one before we go? Nope, that's it. Okay, so I feel like I'm going to do like a screenshot. Maybe I'll put it on the Magickal Medium. So you find that over there. So if there are any messages here for you, I don't do that all the time on Tallulah Talks like this, but I was really pulled to do that. So also I had like some weed in there. So maybe, I do this because, so maybe you need to relax and chill. So if you don't smoke weed, like maybe have some shrooms or something, but I'm here just to like chill, glass of wine, like whatever works for you. All right, you guys, that's all I have for you today. I love you so much. Take really good care of yourselves and each other. Whenever you watch this, it's timeless, but we're at the end of a moon cycle and we're going to be at the beginning of a new one. So, you know, Scorpio is no joke. So really, really take it easy. Scorpio is easy to have slip of the tongue. Scorpio says it like it is with the stinger. That's why they have it. But at the same time, it's also the phoenix rising out of the ashes and the eagle are representations of Scorpio as well. So, you know, I feel like I'm going to take those for myself because the fact that the new moon is on the 1st of November, I feel like the whole month of November is going to be something really special. And I feel like that on my birthday, on Friday the 13th in December, there's going to be like some celebratory, like, I feel like I'm going to really have something to celebrate with the dragons. All right, you guys, I love you so much. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh, bye.